Hi everyone. In last week's Dev Diary, we examined the orbital ring, the quantum catapult, and the Stellarium. Today we're going to look at another construction that has a massive impact on the game, the hyper relay. After that, we'll look at some other changes coming in Cepheus and Overlord, and finish off with another origin that was revealed yesterday by Navarius. Long ago, back in Dev Diary 243, we showed you some concept art of hyper relays, and we told you that they had greebles and that they were game-changing. Now it's time to fully reveal them. Hyperrelays are a rare Tier 2 technology that require the hyperlane breach points technology and access to rare crystals to discover. Once you've observed a functional hyperrelay in use by another empire, the technology will appear much more frequently, causing them to spread in a pleasing manner across the galaxy. Hyperrelays can be built by your construction ships outside of the gravity well of systems, just like gateways. They're useless on their own, but a chain of hyperrelays built in adjacent systems dramatically speeds up travel, allowing you to jump from relay to relay after a short wind-up, instead of having to travel across each system at sublight speeds, as long as neither endpoint is controlled by a hostile empire. Once two relays in adjacent systems have been linked, the hyperlane between those systems will become bolder, and ships traveling along them will show the route plotted in blue as they're using the bypass. Hyperrelays can be built in your own space or those of your subjects. For convenience, relays can be built directly from the galaxy map. If an empire's capital is attached to the hyperrelay network, additional effects can be projected through the network using several network edicts. These add strategic resource upkeep to your hyperrelays and an effect on all of your colonies that are connected to your capital. Specialist empires each have a network effect available at Tier 1, which becomes active in the Overlord's relay network if a continuous chain connects their capitals. As one could imagine, an expansive hyper-relay network makes travel much faster during the mid-game when you do not yet have a comprehensive gateway system built. And since such travel is permitted in neutral empires that have open borders, navigating the galaxy and responding to distant threats is easier than ever before. As a personal anecdote, after playing with these and the new subjugation mechanics internally, it was almost difficult to go back to 3.3 for the dev clash. It made me almost want to blow up the galaxy. As with every update, there are a number of balance or quality of life changes and adjustments in Cepheus. Here's a handful of interesting changes. Successful force ideology wars with a corporate aggressor now result in the target or created empire having the oligarchic authority and the merchant guild civic. This is also true for status quo resolutions of establish hegemony, subjugation, and the scions bring into the fold war goals. Corporate subjects can now open branch offices in subjects of their shared overlord, as long as their overlord is not also a megacorp. AI subjects of player empires now receive AI bonuses as if the difficulty level of the game were one level lower rather than losing those bonuses entirely. The parliamentary system civic now allows factions to be generated much earlier in the game. You can now nominate other empires to custodianship, provided they meet the requirements. The Unbidden can no longer spawn in pulsar systems, as the star will disable their dimensional portal shields. Heavy Metal Link sends its regards. Low military intel is now gained at 30 intel instead of 40, and medium military intel is now gained at 60 intel instead of 70. The effects of medium and high military intel have been swapped. Medium now allows you to view ship loadouts, high now grants visibility and location of military fleets. Gateways and hyperrelays can now be built in vassal space. The Grasp the Void Ascension perk now grants increased draw weight for FTL travel techs. Some improvements have also been made to automatic migration. Ideal worlds, such as Ring Worlds, Gaia Worlds, Hive Worlds, and Machine Worlds, now have a 50% higher score when pops are deciding where to automatically resettle to, so they're more likely to want to move to your newly founded Ring World. Capital World planet designations also have a plus 10% score, and freshly founded colonies have 25% from their designation. Pops will now pick which planet to auto-migrate to, based on which planet has the most free jobs rather than the least. Oops. They also now take free housing into account better. The Outliner will now differentiate between unemployed pops that are migrating and those that are not. A yellow briefcase will be shown for planets that have unemployed pops that are in the process of migrating to another planet. A red briefcase will be shown if your attention is required to resolve the unemployment. On the planet view, the tooltips will now show where the pop is most likely to move to, or explain why they're unable to move. We have 11 new achievements in Overlord. Here are the icons. I'm curious what people think they are. Some eagle-eyed viewers have noticed that some of the flags aren't possible in 3.3. You're correct. The art team has added some new colors to the flag palette, over 70 flag emblems, and 45 new flag backgrounds. These will all be part of the Cepheus update as part of the May anniversary celebrations. Those born under the slingshot to the stars find their desires to explore fulfilled by a nearby quantum catapult, which replaces one of their guaranteed habitable worlds. Their eagerness to explore into the unknown reduces the distance penalty for building starbases in remote systems by 75%. Next week, the totally human programmer Narkerns will take over for an update on AI and automation improvements coming in Cepheus, and I'll add a little bit about a fourth origin at the end. Text versions of these dev diaries are available on the Stellaris forums. Subscribe so you don't miss any of our content, and wishlist Overlord if you haven't already. In the meantime, keep your eyes on our social media channels. There'll be an announcement later on today. Thanks.